It has been a while for me to actually sit down, watch an anime episode, and just be like so impressed by the episode in general and just, go like, wow, I am really digging what I am watching. I mean, in this episode of Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress, I was rooting the characters on, I was just going like, damn, I was like, just completely immersed in the episode as a whole, and I just couldn't get enough of this episode. This was a fantastic episode of Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress. It was funny because I was on PS4 with Memory, and we were just talking about it for quite some time, because he actually ended up seeing the episode before me, and he was just telling me how great it was, and I'm like, nah, it can't be really that great. But then I end up watching the episode, sit down, and I just, am completely impressed by the episode as a whole. To the animation, the soundtrack, the character development in itself, and pretty much just everything in general. I really enjoyed this episode. So what happened in this episode of Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress? Pretty much we had it to, in this episode, the Kabane end up getting on to the Kotetsujo and make their way into the train, plowing through pretty much cart by cart by car, devouring everybody in sight. And we actually get introduced to a new Kabane within this episode called a Wazasatori. Now, I believe from what was stated is that the Wazatoris, they actually have a brain compared to most other Kabane. You know how the original Kabane are pretty much, just walking zombies? The Wazasatori are actually Kabanes that have a brain to where they have prior knowledge to, like, say if they were a samurai at one point, the human who got turned into a Kabane was a samurai at one point. These Kabane will actually remember these events and experience that they had as a samurai and will be able to use their sword fighting to an advantage. Or is it the other way around? Is it that a Kabane sees people sword fight, and it learns from these experiences on how they actually, do their sword fighting in the first place, that makes them turn into a Wazasatori? Like, we need more clarification on that, but it does pose a really good threat to our characters. Rather than just having walking zombie-like Kabane, we actually have Kabane within this series that will actually pose more of a threat. In this episode, we saw pretty much, everyone, getting taken out, and even one of the main character, well, not main character, but one of the main supporting characters, I would say, I think his name is Kurusu. He is the samurai, and he's a complete badass in my opinion, but we saw that he got stabbed by this Wazasatori and was nearly on the verge of dying until Ikoma ended up coming up. So yeah, I just like how this is actually, the story is branching off to its own thing. There are similarities to Attack on Titan, but, it really does seem like this is branching off into different aspects of, what I was expecting of the series. And I like how, some of the enemies that our main characters are going to face are actually going to be more, on a certain level of difficulty. And of course, at the end of this episode, we have it to where Ikoma and Mumei are now forming a partnership with the rest of the people on the train, and it seems that they have now gained the trust of pretty much everyone on the train. And also, it seems that they have gained fellow supporters who are actually willing to give them blood, which is going to be very handy because of the fact that, from what we got in the last episode of Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress, it was implied that Kabaneri need human blood in order to satisfy their hunger, in order to stay alive. Because if the Kabaneri do not get human blood, they will end up turning into full-blown Kabane themselves. So yeah, we have it to where the High Priestess and Kurisu and several other characters are willing to actually give their blood for the Kabane. So that, or Kabaneri, excuse me. So that is very good. So yeah, this was a very awesome episode of Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress. And like I said, it's been a while since I can actually, jump out of my chair and actually be like, dude, this episode is awesome, and talk about my feelings for this episode as a whole, you know, just the animation, you know, the character development that went on with several characters. Even if it was minor, it was still character development, and, you know, the events that took place, you know, the soundtrack, it was just amazing. I really liked this episode. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on what you thought about this episode of Kabaneri the Iron Fortress. And let me know if you are enjoying the series or if you're not really enjoying it. Like, is there anything wrong with this series that you kind of don't like? Just let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. And of course, if you like this video, don't forget to drop a like. It would be greatly appreciated. And if you want to stick up to date to my future content, hit that red subscribe button below and you'll never miss a video from me. That about does it for this video, guys, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace!